When you have the intention to grow into whatever you want to become, there is one main thing which holds you back from becoming that thing, right? And it's you. It's literally you. It's your mind that stops you from getting to where you want to go. Your mind can be either your best friend or your worst enemy. And to demonstrate this, I'm going to show you how most people conceive their mind, right? Because we think that we are the mind. We are this body that's talking, right? We are these words we are speaking. We are these thoughts that we are having. And what we misconceive of this is that we think that we are our thoughts, right? We are our minds. And what happens is we shackle ourselves to our limited perspective, because we got to realize that if we think that we are the mind, then we're just going to get held back by what the mind tells us, because a lot of the times our minds are rubbish. They tell us, you're not good enough. Why are you doing that? Judging every action that you do, right? And so we've got to make clear distinction between two levels. And so to do that, we need to discuss between two different levels, right? And both of these levels, I'm going to show you how people actually conceive their minds and stuff. And I'm going to show you how you can use this method to conceive your mind as not you, right? So level one, people think I am the mind, right? I am the mind. These are people that think, oh yeah, I have thoughts about this thing. I'm thinking about that. I am the thinker. I'm having these thoughts. I mean, I'm having these thoughts, right? And so they think that I'm the one thinking that. So they feel guilt for thinking that. And they have this sort of, why am I thinking this? And it's all inside their mind. They don't realize that. Another level, right? This is level one. Level two, you get to, I have a mind. And this is very interesting, because what essentially happens now is that instead of thinking that I am the mind, I'm thinking everything, what's wrong with me, what's that, and stuff like that, you stop thinking about stuff like that. And instead you think, I have a mind. And so the key distinction between these two levels is, one level thinks, I'm just going to make a stupid, crazy drawing of a brain. But let's say this is the brain. I hope you can see it. Ta-da, this is my brain. And most people think that, you know what, I am that thing. I am this brain that is there. But you've got to realize is these people that are on level two, they don't think that, oh yeah, let's say another like baguette looking ass brain, but it's brain. I've got to annotate it as brain so people can actually know. And so this brain, people don't think I am this brain. They just simply observe this brain, right? They have an upper perspective of just looking at the brain for what it is, rather than what people are conceiving it as, which is themselves. You are not your thoughts. You are not your thoughts, right? You are not the things that you think and stuff, because you are not the thinker. What I merely want you to know is that your brain or the mind will hold you back from actually getting to the things which you want to go, right? And you can simply get this by, let's say, tomorrow morning you plan to wake up early, right? You're trying to change up everything. You're trying to be the new person. You're trying to wake up every single morning, eat healthy, do productive stuff, right? But what's gonna happen? Your brain's gonna be like, man, these blanket covers be looking extra comfy today, man. And so you're gonna just lie down even more. You're gonna waste even more time, and you're gonna think, why am I thinking this? What's wrong with me? But you've got to realize that simply by observing the thought, simply by observing that you're having a thought, means that you are not the thought. Because if you can observe something on the inside, for example, I can observe these writings on the board. Does that mean I am that? It doesn't, right? And so what you need to understand by this is, whatever you're thinking about, whatever the thoughts are, I'm not saying you are the thinker, whatever your thoughts are, it's not your thoughts. By saying that they are your thoughts, you're identifying those thoughts with you. And what about most of the thoughts that we have on a daily basis, right? Most of our thoughts we have on a daily basis, they are crazy. They're not even like uplifting thoughts, are they? They're like, why did I do this? Why am I doing that? Or why did this happen? Or sometimes, straight up, they can be just negative. Why am I like this? Right? It's going to be all these negative thoughts that are holding us back from actually getting to where we want to go. But You've got to realize that you are not these thoughts that are appearing here right now. The mere fact, right? Listen to me when I say this. The mere fact that you can see that you're having a thought, or a negative one or a positive one, means that you are not that thought which is appearing. It's merely in your awareness, right? It's merely in your awareness. And whatever is telling you that this is a bad thought, this is a good one, this is a bad one, it's merely your past conditioning, how you live through life, how your parents treated you, how your teachers treated you, how your friends might have treated you, or what society might have deemed to be an acceptable emotion or an unacceptable emotion, right? And with those conditionings, with those programs in mind, you're now thinking, you know what, I'm having this thought. Another thought that just came to my mind is an example for you, right? Let's say you have the thought of protective jealousy when it comes to the women in your life, right? Let's say it's your wife, it's your sister, or it's your mother, for example. If you're having this protective jealousy when your wife is talking to someone like a man that you don't know, and you're having this feeling of like, this like, I don't know how to explain it because I had that feeling. And when you have that feeling, if you go tell it to someone, they're gonna think, man, you're weird, man. Like, chill out. It's the 21st century. Chill out, man. Everyone's gonna be like that, right? But you know innately how that feels. And when I'm saying that, people right now, they don't understand this protective jealousy and stuff like that, because if you look into it, it's actually something that's built into men. If you just search up the term ghaira, right, or I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, it's spelled Gheerah, and if you go spell it out, it's going to be more information on there. But when you're looking at these like unacceptable emotions by society, you can't express anger, you can't express protective jealousy, for example, all you're going to look at is, so I'm wrong then. Why am I thinking these thoughts, right? Because by those thoughts, I just want to show you something else as well. Why is the brain doing this? Why is the brain giving you all these negative symbols? Why is the brain giving you all these just dark moments, right? Why is it not helping you instead? Like, that's the main question. Why is the brain trying to pull you down instead of helping you? The main reason why your brain is there in the first place is one simple reason. It's purely survival. Your brain is not here to tell you, oh yeah, you're doing this, right? You're going to the gym in the morning. Yes, you need to go there. Your brain doesn't tell you, oh, that's where you want to go. Let's go together. Your brain's gonna think, you know what? I need to survive. What is the best possible way for me, or to alert the person that is experiencing me survive, right? And so what your brain's gonna say is, every action that you do is gonna lead to some sort of fear, right? Your brain is gonna have this fear of maybe the environment, maybe what's gonna happen in the future, because a lot of the times people think it's all about physical survival, but I want to argue and say it's more psychological. Boom. It's more psychological rather than physical fear, because yeah, physical fear is like a big category, but when you think about psychological fear and fear of, let's say, the future, because it's not even fear of the future, it's fear of uncertainty in the future, right? And so what you've basically got to understand from this is, we've got the misidentification of thinking that we are these thoughts that we are having, we are these negative patterns that are happening in life. But the mere fact that you can observe those negative patterns happen means that you are not those negative patterns. You are just the person that observes those negative patterns happen. And so with that being said, what you've got to realize from everything which I've just said is that you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts. So what even are you, right? And so I've got to create this diagram for you. Let's see, how did I draw it before? Let's say this is like the journey of life that you're going on. This is like the time, this is events, right? And so what you've got to merely understand from that is, life isn't going to be like, if life was like that, guess what, we would all be like chilling and stuff like that. But the nature of life is ebbs and flows. Life doesn't just go like boom, it goes like this. It's all crazy, it's all ups and downs, and it's like bouncing up one day and it's like it's bullshit. But that's just the nature of life, right? And so what you've got to understand is, whenever you're going through a good time, there's a bad time coming. I'm not saying it's coming and so you need to fear it. just understand that you are neither the good time happening nor you are the bad time happening. When you're having the good time, enjoy the good time, and because there are more good times coming, right? When you're a bad time, enjoy the bad time because there are more good times coming still. So you've got to understand that there is no point in fearing what's to come, because you, who you think you are, your mind, your thoughts are not going to be the thing that is experiencing that future. And so to mainly understand this is called the ebbs and flows of life. You know what I mean? So you've got to understand that this is all ebbs and flows. This is just a game of going in waves, right? And you've got to realize you are not these ups and downs. You are merely someone, listen to me, someone that observes these ups and downs happen. The mere fact that you can see that you're going through a tough time right now means that you are not the tough time itself. The mere fact that you can see you're going through a good time right now means that you are not the good time itself. You're merely someone that observes the good time happen, right? And when you tap into that detachment of self, when you look at yourself, instead of looking at yourself as I'm the thought, I'm the body, I'm this, I'm that, you start seeing yourself as I am someone that observes everything happen, right? And so this is the key distinction which I want to make when it comes to the level 2 people, is instead of looking at the mind as why am I the mind, why is this happening, simply think I have a mind. And instead of viewing this mind as why is this even here, look at the mind as an asset. It's trying to tell you something, but that doesn't mean you need to look at everything and listen to everything it says, right? And so with that being said, one last thing which I want to show you is something which I've learned in Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins. And a thing which is really gonna help you, which I've learned in Power versus Force, and a thing which is really gonna help you, which I learned from Power versus Force by Dr. David Hawkins, is a passage which I'm reading right now. And so I'm just gonna read you a passage from Dr. David Hawkins, which says, over the ages, it has been noted that merely observing the mind tends to increase one's level of consciousness. A mind that is being watched becomes more humble and begins to relinquish its claims to omniscience. A growth in awareness can take place. With humility comes the capacity to laugh at oneself, and increasingly to be less the victim of the mind and more its master, right? And so, to leave this video, I'm going to show you an action step of what you can do to help you understand this concept more. And the concept is merely observance, like the book said, right? You need to just observe. Observance. Yo, if I spell this wrong, if I look back at this and I spell this wrong, I don't even know what I'm going to say, man. But I hope this is how observance is spelled, if there's not like an A here. But to really understand this is that you need to meditate, all right? Meditate and pray. Now, if you are someone that doesn't do any of these things, you need to, I'm just going to say, hop onto those things, because I do both. What essentially happens in that moment is that you realize that you are not alone in the journey, right? You are not the person that is like, oh, it's all in my hands, I have all the control. You realize that there is a higher power which you can leave your control to. And when there's things you can't really control in life, you need to trust in the higher power that they can control those things. And with that thing comes the power of observance. You try to see things without a judgmental view. You try to look at your mind and what your mind is saying without really identifying what's happening. You see yourself here as not really me, but rather you see yourself as someone that observes yourself in the first place, right? And when that tends to happen, you see yourself as a mere character in the game rather than someone that is there. You have to move it. It's not like GTA 6. It's like you're the player that is having the controller in your hand, and you're mainly playing the controller. You're not the character in the game, if you know what I mean, right? And so with that being said, I really hope you gained some value with this video. If you want to work with me one-on-one, there's going to be a link in the description. You can just click on it, right? And there's going to be a call we can schedule and talk and stuff like that. And so with that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.